My name is Kanini Mutooni. I'm a managing director at Draper Richards Kaplan. Draper Richards Kaplan is a venture philanthropy institution, and what that means is that we invest in early stage social mission orientated companies from around the world. And I'm excited to be the managing director for Africa and really excited to be leading our Africa portfolio. It's a very exciting time and space. I just came back from London, now it's gonna be 2 years in the summer. And this is really the best place to be at the moment. The entrepreneurship space is not only dynamic, but it's dealing with real problems that the world has got to solve. So it's not just about a startup doing something fun or a startup coming up with a new app that helps you order coffee or order a car. It's real social problems being solved. It's a lack of water, energy, financial inclusion, all very exciting spaces. And I think the other thing is that governments have started to recognize the importance of the startup ecosystem. Kenya is one example, Nigeria is another example, Ghana is another example. You're starting to see governments getting into the space from a scale perspective, helping entrepreneurs scale and grow, and also even from a funding perspective, which we never expected. So I think it's a very exciting space, even from a policy standpoint as well. Government is getting in and trying to make it sometimes harder to do business, but in other instances, easy to do business. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of hope and excitement and passion for the ecosystem in Africa and Kenya as a whole. Yeah, that's a great question. I would say when I start seeing local investors coming into rounds more than they're doing now, that for me is a mark of success. I mean, a lot of the money that's being raised, a lot of the capital that's being deployed and raised is coming from outside, largely Europe and the US. But we need to get to a point where it's local investors putting money into local companies and helping local growth. Because I feel capital has to be contextual, and sometimes capital that's coming from outside is not necessarily contextual. They don't understand what's happening on the ground as much as they could. They may be pushing for scale strategies that may not necessarily work. And I just feel as local investors, we need to start playing a part in the ecosystem. So that for me will be the mark of success. And then maybe a few more unicorns, that would be nice, as well as impact unicorns. So companies that were formed with a social mission in mind, but have passed the $1 billion mark and maybe have even exited. I think that for me will be another mark of success. Team is the most important thing. So you look at the person leading the company. What is their personality? Are they coachable? Do they have a vision? Can they execute? And do they listen? Yeah. For me, you can have a fantastic business with a poor leader. I'd rather not invest because at the end of the day, it is the leader who's going to take the company through the ups and downs. So that's very, very important for me. I have to be able to sit down, talk to the leader, have coffee, and then we talk about the stuck in an airport test for 5 hours. Can you sit with this entrepreneur for 5 hours in an airport if you were stuck there and still be engaged, talk to each other and enjoy each other's company? And then the second thing is obviously the business model. It needs to be a business model that's replicable and that can scale. And then of course, as an impact investor, impact needs to be baked into the business model. So if we make profit, if we make financial return, then we also have to be making an impact at the same time. So that's a very important piece of the pie for me as well. And then the fourth thing is that we need to be able to see potential scale right from the get-go, even if it's a pre-seed or seed business. What is the vision for scale? It's not just a hobby business. This thing has to grow, and we need to be able to see that as an investor from the outset. So those are the key things that we would think about in terms of criteria. That's a good one. I think the first one is entrepreneurs not doing diligence on the investor and it being one-sided. So if the investor is diligencing you, you should be diligencing them. Find out who is in their portfolio, how have they managed other companies in the portfolio, do they take impact seriously, do they insist on exiting, do they take time to really spend with a portfolio company, or do they just spray and pray? Invest and then walk away. And then I think the second mistake is not managing the power dynamic that comes between an investor and an investee. Especially in this part of the world, you find that investees or companies will be so excited to have an investor interested in their company that they let the investor lead the process, right? And I think that's where the mistakes happen. They don't have a voice in the negotiations, they accept what they're given, and they don't question what's being put on the table. So again, it's a very difficult thing, but I think with good amounts of coaching, an entrepreneur can really learn how to not be led, but to lead when it comes to an investment round. And then I think the third thing is saying no. I think a lot of entrepreneurs think they can't say no, but I like to say no is a full sentence. So you can actually say no. It doesn't have to always be a yes to an investor. If it doesn't fit your model, if it doesn't fit your vision, there'll always be another one. So just say no.